The last few days of my life have been absolutely insane, both good and bad, so I think it's time for another storytime video. Before we jump into it, I want to mention I have not played Minecraft in about a week or so, so the gameplay might be a little bit rusty in the background, and I apologize for that. Anyways, let's move into the actual story. So to add a little backstory for those who don't know, Wednesday I was flying out to Burbank, California, where I was doing a brand deal Thursday, and then Friday I flew back home, or at least I was supposed to fly back home Friday, and we'll get into that later in this story. But to start off Wednesday, I woke up, showered, ate, finished packing, got videos on all that stuff, and it was looking like a pretty solid day. It was nice outside, not a lot of traffic on the highway, and generally it seemed pretty good. And even better because when I walked into the airport, there was no security line. Like, literally, it was empty. It was like a ghost town, and this was like at 7 p.m. on a Wednesday at the airport, so it was nice. You know, I walked through the security. It probably took like 2 minutes, so I was like, wow, this trip is starting off really, really nice. It's going to be an awesome trip. So I'm sitting down at my gate waiting to board the plane whenever it finally arrives and you're able to start boarding. And as I'm sitting there with my AirPods on, just listening to music on my phone, Spotify, Post Malone's new album, literally insane, and I look to my left, and I see, so the plane's landed by now, right? So I look to my left, and I see a guy kicking the tire. Like, he was literally kicking it as if it was, like, deflated or something, and so I'm like, okay, people, they do weird things with planes when they land. I don't know, I never really look outside of the plane when it lands. So I turn back around, just, looking at my surroundings, looking at my phone, Twitter, Instagram, the works, following down below, and then, like, probably 5 or like 10 minutes pass, and I look to my left again, and there's like a party out there. There's like 10 people, including the pilot and co-pilot, all surrounded by the tires, talking, making some like hand movements and gestures. So I was like, okay, something's going on. I might miss my flight. It might be delayed. I don't really know what's happening, but I start freaking out, you know? But also in my mind, I'm like, I don't need to like cause a scene. I don't need to go up and start asking questions to the, like concierge, I guess I can call them. The attendants, flight, whatever they may be called. So I still sit down. I'm waiting. At this point, I'm just staring outside, and I see others staring outside as well because it's just weird to see so many people surrounded by the tire. And then I believe the co-pilot, I assume he's the co-pilot at the very least, he walks in, picks up the microphone, and tells everyone that they need to replace both of the front tires on the plane, which is going to result in a 1-hour delay. So instantly, there is a ton of commotion, like a little under the breath kind of stuff going on. Everyone is kind of complaining, but like kind of subtly. Like I can hear people around me, but I doubt like the flight attendants and the co-pilot could hear them. And then he's talking about it and how if you have a connecting flight, you may want to walk up to the desk and figure out what you need to do if you need to like get a new connection. And this is an issue because I was arriving in Burbank at midnight, like local time. And I had to be awake at 9, and I knew I was going to have to eat some food, and it was going to take like half an hour to get to my hotel. So all of that combined, I was like, I can't have a delay. You know, I gotta get there, and I gotta be able to get to my hotel, check in, Uber eat some food, actually eat, and then get some sleep so I can actually stream and be energetic and be awake during the stream. So I go up to the dude, I talk to him, I tell him my confirmation number. I'm like, yeah, I need to get there because I have to do some work really early in the morning, and he says, worst case scenario, if I miss my connecting flight, they would put me in a hotel, and then I would fly out of Houston, because that's where I was going, that's my connection was. I would fly to there, and then arrive in LAX at 10 a.m. local time. I was like, that's not really gonna work, but we'll see, because again, that was worst case scenario. I was still looking at being able to make my connection, given the delay time. So, I'm like, whatever. I'll risk it. I went and sat down. I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, this is not good. So I started emailing my managers, telling them the situation, letting them know if worst case scenario happens, I won't be there for a while, if they can push it back or whatever it may be. And then board the flight, sleep on the plane. We land. We freaking land at the exact same time, if not 5 minutes earlier than we were supposed to land without the delay. So I don't know what kind of like wizardry the pilot did as he was flying. I don't know if he's Doctor Who, I'm not sure. Either way, we land, I have plenty of time to make my connection flight in Houston. Get on the plane, we're all good. I land in LAX, I get my Uber, go the half an hour to Burbank to my hotel, and then I get food, And to make up for it, I guess the universe decided to like shine their light upon me, because as I was checking in, the guy told me they upgraded my room to like the best room in the hotel. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a hotel, like a little room tour as the backdrop to this video right now, so you guys can see. It was a really nice hotel. The shower was absolutely insane. The bed was really, really comfy. They had this robe in there that felt really nice too. So overall, I landed and I get to the hotel, and I think to myself, okay, we had the delay, it wasn't a big deal, I didn't miss anything, and I have a better room now, so the trip is looking pretty good again, right? So I get some food, I get McDonald's, I eat, I sleep, I finally get to the studios the following day, Thursday, I meet all my managers that I talked to, I meet everyone there, the players, the host, everyone, and everyone is super nice, super, super chill, really, really good people. It was finally nice putting a face to all of the managers that I speak to on a pretty daily basis. And it was really nice meeting Hutch and Jordan, and then finally seeing Jerome again. I have not seen Jerome in like 6 years, so it was really cool seeing him, and then meeting Eat My Addiction, so that was really cool too. And then we go through the process. It was super legit. If you guys watched the stream on my Twitch channel, which I really appreciate if you did, I love you guys, you could tell it was legit. I got my makeup done. I was mic'd up as like if you were like working in the news or something that had that kind of mic going on. They had like professional grade studio cameras filming us. It was insane. It was a crazy experience, and we ended up getting a win in the stream as well, which was like the icing on the cake. It was super, super nice. I head back to my hotel room, and I want to mention really fast, Warner Brothers did pay for my flight and like travel, hotel, everything. They paid for all of that stuff, which was really, really cool. And it's honestly like such a dream come true, because when I was younger, I always thought to myself, it would be so, so cool if a company would pay for me to fly out somewhere and for me to stay somewhere to play a video game, which is exactly what happened, which is absolutely insane. So thank you all so much for being subscribed, watching the videos, supporting in any way possible. I obviously could not have done this without you guys, so I love you guys and I appreciate you guys. Anyways, getting back to the story time. So like I said, I went back to my hotel room, and I figured I would take a nap, right? Because I was still really tired. I got in pretty late. By the time I could finally fall asleep, it was like 3 or 4 a.m. local time, and I had to get up at like 9, so I had almost no sleep for that day. And so I lay in bed, again, very comfy bed. I fall asleep, and as opposed to a nap, I just slept. I woke up, it was 8 p.m., and then in my mind, I was like, well, I gotta leave for LAX in the morning at like 5 a.m. because it's LAX. I assumed it would be massively packed. So in my mind, I'm like, the smart move here is to stay awake for the rest of the night, which I did. I just played Pokemon Crystal, I played some Pokemon Go, I watched a bunch of videos on my iPad. Unfortunately, the hotel room did not have like an option to buy movies that like have recently come out. I was looking forward to that. It's 4 a.m. I am about to pass out. I'm so tired, but in my mind, I'm like, I can't sleep now. So I figured I would call the Uber. I checked out, got in my Uber, and then got to the airport. Of course, I always use the airline app to check in prior to arriving at the airport, so I don't have to stand in that line. So I go through security. Wasn't that bad. Again, it was really early. I was really, really overestimating how packed LAX really is in the morning. So I got through security in like 10 minutes, maybe even less than that, which is really, really nice. And then I got to my gate, got some food, so I have to stay awake this entire time. Finally, they start boarding the plane, and this is where it gets spicy. This is where the story time really takes a turn, my friends. So I board the plane. All of us board the plane, right? We detach from the little, like, walking mechanism, the walk, whatever it may be. We're on the tarmac, probably getting ready to take off. At this point, I'm sleeping, right? I am passed out. I have been awake for so long. I'm already, you know, like, dazed and confused in my dream state on the plane, and then I wake up. It's been an hour. We are still on the tarmac, not even in the sky, and I take off my BliTzz headset, which, by the way, the BliTzz headset, insanely good on planes. I take it off, and they're talking about how they have to reroute in their flight pattern because of the weather, and because of that, they have to refuel the plane. And in my mind, I'm like, why is it not protocol to instantly fuel your plane to max once you land your plane, especially when you know you're flying across the country in your next flight? So I am just infuriated right now. I am so angry because this is almost back-to-back flights with United that have been delayed. not only was I already out for an hour and that time was past, that we still have not gotten on the air, or in the air rather, they were saying it will take another hour to refuel the plane. And in my mind, I'm like, why does it take that long to refuel a plane? But I guess they had to refuel the plane and then get back in like the line and get cleared for takeoff, and that all that combined took an hour. I don't really know. Either way, I was so angry because I am not blaming the weather on that, right? Like, that is completely United and the pilot's fault. I don't care what world you're living in, and if you're going to fly a plane across the country with just enough gas, and if you have to reroute in the middle of the sky, we're gonna die. You know what I mean? So it should be protocol and mandatory to instantly fuel your plane when you land wherever you're going. And like I said, especially if you're going across the freaking country. I was going from LAX to Newark. That is basically as across the country as you can get. So I am so mad. I probably should have deplaned, but they didn't really say it until like the very last minute. They were like, yeah, if you want to deplane, we got 2 minutes. You can leave it. We can reroute you. I'm like, okay. I'm in the back of the plane. I'm in the window seat. I can't make it out there in 2 minutes. So regardless, we finally take off 2 hours later, mind you. And then I am luckily able to sleep on the plane again, thank goodness. So we finally land in Newark. I am obviously late. The plane's gone. Like, I've missed my connection by a mile, man. So I get there. I talk to a flight attendant. I ask them what I should be doing because they made me miss my flight. And they're saying that there are no current flights going to Fort Myers at this time. Go speak to customer service. I ask them where it is. They give me the most lame, basic directions in the world, so I'm confused walking around. There's no signs saying customer service. They're saying the other terminals, the baggage claim, ground transportation, and the exit sign. So I'm a little bit lost. Finally, I find customer service. And of course, it's packed because it's an airline and it's customer service. So I'm waiting in that line for an hour. By the time I finally get to the actual service agent, I tell them the issue. I tell them I need to go to Fort Myers. And of course, look at this. Since I waited an hour, I just missed the other 2 potential flights out of Newark to Florida. So that's great. Thank you, United. You're really helping me out here. And then she's looking through all the different flights. I tell her the other potential airports in the area that I could land at. She's talking about Jacksonville. I'm like, that is nowhere near where I live, so I can't do that. And then finally, she finds a flight at 7 in the morning the next day, Saturday, to Sarasota's airport. And I'm like, that's fine, I can do Sarasota. And if it's the earliest, whatever. Because in my mind, I'm like, of course they're going to, reimburse me by giving me a free hotel room for the night, right? Wrong! Because it was the weather's fault. They didn't reimburse me at all. I didn't get anything. No upgraded seat, no compensation, no hotel room. Again, I didn't pay for the flight, so that's kind of lucky on my end right there, but that was just ridiculous to me. So I'm like, I'm not going to pay for an Uber to take me to an hotel, if I can speak here, and then pay for a hotel room and then finally wake up, have to come back, go through security again, and then get on my plane. Luckily, I was also managing I was emailing my managers, and one of my managers offered to find me a hotel room on Machinima, which was super nice. Like, Machinima is really, really awesome. But I told them that I appreciate it, but I'd rather just stay in the airport, because I'd always thought to myself, what would it be like living in an airport during the night? And let me tell you, it is not fun. So at this point, it was like 9 p.m. and I had to stay in the airport until 7 in the morning to finally board my next flight. Now, mind you, during that entire time, I did not sleep at all. Because like I said before, I am not going to sleep in an airport in the fear of someone stealing my stuff. Luckily I travel in comfortable clothing, so I was traveling in my sweatpants, and the sweatpants have zippers on the pockets. So I was safe from like pickpocketing, but I'm a really heavy sleeper. So if someone were to come up to me, unzip my pocket, and take my wallet, I could potentially sleep through that. I'm obviously not sure. I'd rather not test that theory, but I didn't want to risk it. So I found a nice little area to sit down. It was cool. They had an iPad where you could order food and they'd bring it to where you were sitting, which was really nice. So I got that. Unfortunately, I burnt my mouth on the fries I had ordered as well. So that was great. And then once it got later, pretty much all the places in the airport closed. And the only place I could buy food or drinks or whatever it may be was at the Global Bazaar. That's what they called it in where I was in Terminal C in Newark Liberty Airport. So I kept getting up, doing that. Luckily, they were all self-checkouts, so I didn't have to wait for a person to be there, and that's probably why it's open at night. And I did that to pass the time. I walked around the airport to pass the time. I played Pokemon Crystal again. I watched videos on my iPad. I watched this magic show on the actual airport TV. That was a thing. And eventually, around 5 a.m., people actually started showing up. It became less of a ghost town. And as I'm just dying of, you know, sleep starvation, I'll call it, I'm like, all right, 2 hours, and we're there. It's 5 a.m. It's 2 hours till I leave, and then I can sleep on the plane, and I'm finally home. Okay? So, it becomes 7. Well, it becomes 6:40 when I start boarding the plane, and I get down there, I board, there's no delays, there's no issues. We take off, and I get home. And that's the story. I can use the metric that 50% of my flights with United have had issues. That is a horrible metric for an airline. Last year, I probably flew on like 50 to 70 Delta planes, never once having an issue. Now, I know every airline has issues and every one person is going to have a specific issue with a specific airline, and mine is now United. Obviously, by this time, I have emailed my managers and told them to never put me on United ever again. Like, I do not want to deal with that trashy airline ever again. And also, during that whole time, I was tweeting how bad they are of an airline because it was ridiculous, and they were trying to help me, and the last thing they said to me in DMs was, "We are monitoring your flight." They never replied. They never replied after that. Finally, I'm back home. I was able to make the stream highlights video because I had no other time to make anything else for yesterday, and then after that got uploaded, I passed out. I woke up a couple hours ago. It's now 1 in the morning, and my sleep schedule is absolutely ruined at this point, as if it wasn't already, but that's the story. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Definitely by far my longest ranting storytime video ever. Let me know if you guys have had any issues with airlines in the past. Mostly United, but whatever it may be, let me know your story in the comments. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I streamed a bit of Fortnite to try and get back into it. I've obviously played Minecraft now to get back into it as well. So tomorrow, everything should go back to normal. Regular videos, regular streams of the daily variety, as opposed to Minecraft not being on Tuesdays or Thursdays, because I'm seeing Infinity War again Tuesday because I love the movie so much, man. I've been thinking about it nonstop ever since I saw it last Thursday. So good, so good. But yeah, other than that, I will talk to you all later. Have a nice day, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out.